The Ernie Pyle Award for Excellence in Human Interest Storytelling goes to David Abel, the Boston Globe, for The Richard Family. It was perhaps the last untold story of the Boston Marathon bombings. For months after the attack, Bill and Denise Richard declined invitations to publicly tell their story as they struggled to pull their family through unimaginable trauma. Their 8-year-old son Martin had died on the street that day. 7-year-old Jane lost a leg and suffered burns and shrapnel wounds throughout her body. Denise lost an eye. Bill lost much of his hearing. Henry, age 11, escaped injury but had to live with what he had witnessed. Even as Martin's face appeared in newspapers and on televisions across the globe, a symbol of all that was lost April 15, 2013, the family remained silent. But in November, they decided to share their story of that fateful day and their struggle for recovery with Boston Globe reporter David Abel. Abel spent the next 5 months with the family, observing in detail the rhythms of their new life, their grief, their endurance, their flashes of occasional joy, and the guilt that accompanied a budding acceptance of their new normal. The result was an exclusive 2-part narrative that was published just before the anniversary of the attacks. It served as an indelible reminder of what had been lost, as well as a testament to the courage of those most deeply affected who had to reassemble their lives and try to move on.
The reporter got very close to the family, did a very good job of talking about both the private and the public stuff that was going on with them.
The writer spent a lot of time with the family, and so we felt like we knew the family.
I had tears streaming down my face as I was reading the story.
This one really jumped out on the page. It was really a raw slice of real life.
I think what we're able to do as a result of this story is not only see this family heal, but really, I think readers are able to sort of heal.
And rarely do you have a story that is so important and told so well, and I think that's why we thought it was the most powerful story this year.
Scripps Howard Foundation trustee Julie Scripps Hyde presents the Ernie Pyle Award for the Human Interest Storytelling and $10,000 to David Abel of the Boston Globe.
Thank you so much. At 2:49 p.m. on April 15, 2013, I was standing on the finish line of the Boston Marathon. The sun was out, the breeze was cool, and I was soaking up the weary triumph of runners taking their final steps. Thousands of spectators packed the sidewalks, high-fiving strangers and screaming their love for family and friends. It was truly a beautiful moment. When I saw the flash of light, a shock wave drove me back several steps. I shuddered and smelled sulfur in the air as a cloud of smoke and confusion swept over the street. When the second bomb detonated 12 seconds later, it was clear that we'd been attacked. As you just heard, the bombings that day killed 3 people, including 8-year-old Martin Richard. They severed the limbs of 17 people, including 7-year-old Jane Richard, and injured about 250 more, including Denise Richard, who lost an eye, and Bill Richard, who still suffers from a terrible ringing in his ears. Their older son, Henry, who was 11, wasn't counted among the injured. But like so many of us there that day, he has to live with what he witnessed. Ernie Pyle wrote that war is a revulsion of the mind and an exhaustion of the spirit. The Richards, who suffered the worst of it, never could have expected that they were entering a war zone as they pressed against the barricades of what we in Boston call Patriots' Day. On that idyllic spring afternoon, I never imagined that I would become something of a war correspondent. This past April, after skipping town last year, the Richards returned to the finish line, letting go of some of that revulsion and exhaustion to again cheer for runners. It was another beautiful day in Boston. I'd like to thank the Richards for their trust, candor, and unfathomable strength. My editors, particularly Steve Wilmson, who's here with us tonight, for their wisdom and fine touch, my wife for her nurturing and persistent love, and the Scripps Howard Foundation for such a deeply appreciated honor. Thank you very much.